Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over a brand new team. No, it's an old team. It's actually a team as old as time. It's going to be Shadow Hypno with Double Dark. So the Darks in the back, Umbreon, Scrafty. I've made a million of these videos. You can see them over there, right there, Scrafty and then Hypno. Yeah, so I use this team just because it was last day of the season and yeah, apparently in 2024, this team still works. I was in the comment section yesterday talking to someone, and they were saying, and I was saying Hypno is so bad right now, but actually it ended up working out. Now we have a lot of video to go through because obviously I went 14-1 with this team, so a 4-1 and 2 5-0s. So let's go ahead and get into the video right now. But if you haven't, definitely subscribe if you want to get on that Hypno Double Dark train and stay on it for 18 years. All right, let's get into the battles. Oh, you're seeing too much. Okay, Hypno into Empoleon. So obviously Empoleon outpaces you. It is a regular Empoleon, so Hydro Cannon not doing as much as it could, so you could end up just taking this. And obviously a Thunder Punch is going to KO. You don't see it because the video is sped up, but I did wait one turn just to make sure that Empoleon stayed in this matchup. And then I'm okay to switch into Umbreon because this is just a neutral matchup anyways, which means Umbreon has a big advantage, and I don't want to really lose shields early because maybe this is the first time you're in this channel, but yeah, you definitely want to have you want to have more shields than they do when you go into Scrafty against their last mon. Now, the weird thing about this game so far is Empoleon in the front, Sableye in the back. Those two are both weak against Scrafty, so it could be a bad Scrafty game, but I guess we're about to find out. So I end up shielding this return. I throw on bad timing here just because I'm going to go up to 100 energy, but I want to KO this, and I have energy for if Empoleon does come back in. The Empoleon comes in, they're not out of move, so I'm able to get another move off here. They can't really farm me down, and they end up shielding, so that's great. I'm going to allow this to go through. And then we're going to come in Scrafty and just start farming. So we have the 1-0 shield advantage. Ends up being Trevenant in the back. Shiny Trevenant to that point, which looks pretty sweet, to be honest. I don't think I have one. I'm 99% sure. Otherwise, I'd be flexing it. I decide that I'm going to go for the Power Up Punch first because one, Foul Play does not KO. And I want that extra... I want the attack raise to be already going once we get back into the Empoleon matchup because I want to be doing even more damage with my super effective counters. And it ends up being like pretty good here. You see how much it does, and then I'm going to get this move off, and then 1 or 2 more counters is almost going to KO this thing. Yeah, probably 2 counters. Yeah, look how much the counters do. So just in case you thought that was really weird, that's the reasoning I went for it. I already know that I can't get 1 Foul Play to KO the Trevenant, so I might as well go for it. Bad timing here. I didn't really think about it. I just was scared of the Wigglytuff, but you really should go to 5 Confusions. You should be throwing on 2 and 5 cycles with a 4-turn move versus a 3-turn move if you have the time to do that. So again, we have the extra HP here, so I'm going to go for it, but definitely should have thrown the first one after... Yeah, I'm going to come in Umbreon, just take the extra damage here on Umbreon because obviously it's going to be double super effective. Charm is double super effective against Scrafty. Plus, another thing is I know that I'm just going to be able to take this out with the last resort. I don't want to take too much damage. And I now have Scrafty against their backline when they let a Charmer. So Scrafty's probably going to be pretty good. I'm going to look at what the matchup is. It is Bastiodon, and it ends up being a Trevenant this time. So this time... I'm actually just going to Foul Play right away because I know I have a ton of time against Bastiodon. They actually only came in with they came in with two fast attacks. So I'm going to shield this as the strongest move left and then just farm this down and have a bunch of energy to start throwing the Power-Up Punches into Bastiodon. So the real difference here is that Bastiodon's much further away from its moves than Empoleon is. So I have the time during the matchup here to do stuff, whereas in the Empoleon matchup, I didn't think I would have the time to do things. So I wanted to gain that time in the Trevenant matchup. But yeah, obviously here we're doing a ton of damage. This actually is going to KO, but the foul play is probably going to KO from here. I actually knew this person in that matchup. All right, Gudra lead. So this is not that good. So one of the reasons why I ended up going Ice Punch on Hypno way back in the day, and I knew it was an Aqua Tail, so I thought I could just take this, but actually end up getting really pressured on my HP here, and then I'm probably going to switch out just in case I need Hypno. But again, one of the reasons I really went Ice Punch back in the day was because Altaria, you could beat it to 2 moves. So I would just shield the first Sky attack and then just go Ice Punch and Ice Punch. They end up catching here on the Lantern. That's fine. But Gudra gets to its moves a lot faster. Aqua Tail is just a faster move to get to, and I'm never going to be able to outpace it. So I'm just saying Ice Punch less useful, but I still think it is still the correct second move on Shadow Hypno. I did re-look at all the Pokemon in Great League before going in with this team, just because that's something I like to look at season to season. I didn't always start with Ice Punch. It is where I have ended up, but just making sure that Ice Punch has play against things, and yeah. So one of the things you really wanted against is like Whimsicott, the dragons obviously, but also the dragons take a lot of damage just generally. This matchup's tough. Tentacruel here in the back. I almost just have to catch. But also, even if I catch, how good is it? And I end up not catching, but I do end up taking their last shield, but that's not as good as catching. Catching would have actually ruined their energy, whereas now they could be throwing Scald and I have no idea, so I'm just going to shield. But I do remember this game. They end up throwing double Acid Spray. I shield both. Second one, I definitely shouldn't have shielded. No, they get to it. They could have gotten to 2 of any move here. So that's tough. But I do go for the Power Punch because I know this is going to be able to KO. Or get close at least. And then this was actually my one loss. I over-tapped here. I could have just thrown right away. And I think it would have KO'd because we were already at 2. And then the last 2, or we were already single attack buffed. And yeah, it would have been close, but I think it would have KO'd that Gudra. And then the 2 mon in the back were super low. All right, they switch in. I get a lot of energy on Hypno. They get a lot of energy on Walrein. This is a good matchup, obviously, for Umbreon. I don't know if their Sableye reaches a breakpoint here, but actually this return did a lot more damage than I thought. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive this next one. And I think I end up shielding this just to no, I probably wouldn't shield because, I do have to shield because I want the Walrein into the Scrafty. Makes sense. All right, yeah, I don't know if they reached a breakpoint or something there, but I've never been brought down that far in this Sableye matchup versus Umbreon, so that's tough for me. But we end up taking this Walrein down really hard, but I do still want to keep my Mon alive. It does seem like Umbreon might have play in the back, which is really rare for me to do this. I'll just say that outright. So I'm just going to let this go. Scrafty can farm this down. It's really rare for me to do this, but I'm making a hard call on their back mon being weak against Umbreon. But I'm still going to come in Scrafty, excuse me. And, oh boy, it's Gallade. So one thing here is if they ever throw the close combat, we're screwed. So I'm not even trying to catch here. I just want to get to the Umbreon clock and force him to throw a close combat at Umbreon, because then I can say I still have that shield on Sableye, on Scrafty, and I can get to a move on Scrafty. And he never gets to farm me down here because Psycho Cut is double resisted by Dark. So he uses both those moves, and now I'm pretty sure I'm going to outpace because they have to get to 2 close combats, and I only have to get to 1 move. This is a very squishy mon. It's going to get taken out by this neutral foul play. And then obviously Walrein doesn't have energy. All right, Poliwrath. I remember this game, or I remember this lead. I play this pretty bad. I let this first one go, and then I try to go for 3 confusions, thinking that I would win CMP. I do not win the CMP. So I'm forced to shield here, which sucks. And I've CMP'd, so it's the worst of both worlds. At least I do have energy, and at least I'm winning the lead. The fact that they're not switching out means they're probably weak to this in the back as well. I actually throw this because I'm like, oh, it's double super effective. But the 2 times debuff actually ends up doing a ton. Obviously, it's like 50% drop in damage, but that's rough. But we're back in Umbreon here, and they actually let this go through, so I'm like, okay, Scrafty probably has play in the back. Both of these things were really good against Scrafty. The odds of the other thing in the back being good against Scrafty is pretty low, and it ends up being Registeel. And I do remember this also. They end up shielding this foul play, which I thought was really weird. They're obviously going to be able to one-shot Umbreon at any point, so it's just a matter of when they want to do that. And now we're just kind of waiting for Umbreon to go down. Then we can come in Scrafty. I will have to shield Scrafty once, no matter what. So I could go for 1 power-up right away. And I almost threw that foul play, which would have been a mistake. I really should be either throwing a power-up punch right away or saving up my energy for foul plays against Altaria. But I want to KO this, and then I bring this in, and it's just going to fast attack it down. Shadow Hypno still does a ton of damage. The real problem with Shadow Hypno is it's so slow to get to its moves. 4 confusions to get to a punch, and punches aren't really even that good. That sucks. So, yeah, that's 16 turns to get to 1 move. That's pretty bad. But it does do hard, fast attack damage, so I decided to throw a Thunder Punch here, just because I don't want them to see that I have Ice Punch. Maybe that could be an effective thing in the back. Once they shield, I know they outpace me to the next one, so I just want to come in Umbreon, and maybe they'll switch, maybe they won't. But, yeah, at least we would force something to happen with that Dragonair. So it is good to know that they have 1 full move on Dragonair, and they're very close to a second one. This matchup's pretty bad for Umbreon. You always lose in every shield scenario. Even in the 1-0 shield scenario, it's pretty bad for Umbreon. But you will get it low, which is something. I mean, it's not that bad. Scrafty's going to be able to farm this down infinite once it's able to come in. And I do switch right away because they switched in slow, so I want to just gain a lead here. And I already know I'm good against the Dragonair. And if I can just get this Umbreon pretty low, that's pretty good for my team. I mean, it just has to... I mean, it's taking double super effective from the counters, so I'm able to push it down pretty fast. So maybe the rest of my team will be able to deal with it in the back. So we end up simul KOing on Victory Bell. Sometimes you can win that matchup. It really just depends. If you ever get a 1-turn lead, you can actually throw the power-up punch and end up KOing it with the power punch and then having a little bit of a attack boost going into that last matchup. So I'll probably let Umbreon go, and he actually ends up letting this go, which means I'm going to switch to Hypno right away, sneak in the confusion, and then just shield its move, and then this Dragonair is just KO'd. So this was pretty good, a pretty good game by me, I thought. Let's get into the next one. All right, well, I know I won't mess it up. So they do actually just switch out of the Poliwrath lead. Most Cresselias nowadays not running Moonblast, and I'm just figuring that they're not running Moonblast. Every time I face a Cresselia, I'm just going to have to assume that and let Umbreon sort of just cook, just go his way through with the foul plays. And I want a huge energy advantage, especially now that they have seen the Grass Knot. It means they definitely don't have Moonblast. So I'm going to probably slightly undercharge this. Yeah. And then I'm going to farm it all the way down with Snarls. So almost 2 moves going to come out of this matchup. And we're not going to be threatened even if they get to 2 Grass Knots. We're just so high HP right now. Now, the thing is, it's not like we're going to do too much against Poliwrath. I do throw in bad timing just because we're already at 100 energy. No reason not to. And I want to have the chance to get to another one. Obviously, we have a lot of HP still, so I am going to get to 2. And that's going to be pretty decent. It's a chunk here. Hypno is going to be pretty close to KOing this. It's probably going to be something bad against Scrafty in the back. So I doubt I shield this. But I could. It makes sense if I did as well. But I doubt I shield it just because I'm pretty sure Scrafty's going to be good in the back. It's a Scrafty versus Bastiodon type of day. Am I right? This is just over. I don't even need a shield. I'm just going to farm this all the way down. I've got all the time that I've got enough time that my opponent is willing to spend in this matchup. Another Wigglytuff lead. I'd rather see it in the lead than in the back. And this time I actually go for good timing. So if you go 4 Confusions, that's 20 turns. And if they go 7 Charms, that's 21 turns. So you get right underneath and you get good timing. I actually thought this was Shadow Quagsire. I saw Hypno's Shadow, and I thought it was Shadow on this Quagsire. This is kind of a waste. I really wish I didn't throw that. That's going to be tough for me in the back. But maybe I can... oh my god. No one else will hear because I have desktop notifications muted, but someone just subscribed to the channel while I was making this video. And I forgot alerts are still on when I streamed on YouTube, and it just screamed Pika Pika, and it scared the shit out of me. So sorry. But thank you, Kevin Kaneberger, for the sub. All right, they come back in Wiggly. We have the Last Resort. That is so funny. I gotta get back into it. Okay, we throw the Last Resort, and then it's just like one Confusion away. We're gonna let Hypno go down. I'm gonna wait the timer out completely because we're gonna get locked in for a while, and then I'm gonna come in Scrafty, and this is one counter away from getting KO'd. So we don't even take that. We're not even gonna take that one charm of damage. So Scrafty starting with the lead, having 2 shields. We know there's at least a Quagsire in the back. It could be even like a Skarmory. Ends up being a Sableye. So with 2 shields, I'm willing to just straight foul play. If they no shield this, I'm just going to go straight pup, and then I'm shielding everything, whether or not they bait. This is an old matchup we definitely learned a long time ago. If one goes through, pup your way for the rest of it. And that'll be GG. I think they're going to end up just leaving this one. Oh yeah, they already left, I think. So usually when the screen pauses like this, something weird is happening, or they've closed out of the app. Instead of just, I would top left if I was leaving a game, although I don't really leave too many games. I do sometimes though, and I definitely top left. I don't know about just turning my phone off. That's like real tilt value right there. Okay, Vigoroth. This is really horrific for Umbreon, so definitely good to stay in this matchup. Technically, you kind of outpace to like the 3rd move, so... or the 3rd move KOing it rather than you not getting KO'd, because I can just take that body slam. I think we talked about this type of like danger level type thing in the last video where, I don't have to shield as much as you do, even though you hard outpace me, because I'm not going to be threatened to get KO'd like this person was KO'd when they got right to the move. So that's good for us. Now, they're going to come in Gligar. I'm going to get to double Ice Punch. So Ice Punch double super effective. And yeah, they so luckily shield that first one. They probably think I have Shadow Ball. But yeah, since they shielded the first one, they know to shield the second one. I don't want this against Scrafty, so I'm just going to allow it to fully farm me down. Going to come in Umbreon. Umbreon's bulky enough. It got 11 wing attacks in, if I remember right. I didn't count it this time, but I think they had 11. So they're going to do a ton of digs to this guy. I don't really care that much. I'm still just letting them farm energy because I need to get energy myself. But I'm also not really threatened by anything because I'm so bulky. And yeah, hopefully the thing in the back, both the things were pretty good. I actually go for bad timing here because they were 1 away from the next move. And I just was like, you know what, let's KO it. Let's see what's in the back. Ends up being Jellicent. That's just straight GG. All right, Lickitung. We remember this in the back in the day forever. But Lickitung Bastiodon, I just remembered this game. I played it terrible, but their team comp's really not good. We'll see their comp here in a second. But I play this to where I think they're playing an ABA line. So I'm thinking, they're weak to fighting in the front. They're weak to fighting in the back. Their very last mon is probably like Cresselia or Hypno, something insanely good against fighting. So I play it like it's going to be that, and it isn't. You're going to find out. I was about to say you're about to find out, but you're so far from finding out because this Bastion on Umbreon matchup, we've already seen it once earlier today in this video, but it takes forever to get through. Oh, yeah. I forgot exactly how I played it bad. I just remember I went down 2 shields, and it's because I decided to shoot 2 shield Umbreon because I was like, oh, the thing in the back is going to be really bad for Scrafty, so I need a win switch even if it costs me all my resources. And I'm not too bad into the Lickitung matchup at 0 shields because I can just power up punch and gain my attacks and everything. But they show their last mon here, and then I'm in a pickle. Because they get extra farm, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw Hypno into this. Ice Punch is still neutral against this. It's doing something at least. They end up having Breaking Swipe. I guess it would be Breaking Swipe and Earthquake if I'm to guess, because they never went for a Psychic Fang. And they never went up to an Earthquake either. So I'm just going to guess it's... Or they never actually went up to enough energy for an Earthquake, so it makes me think Earthquake is their secondary move because they just kept Breaking Swipes. And after he does that Breaking Swipe, I'm like, I'm switching out now. They've already gotten their 2 chances at a debuff here. I'm going to switch out so they don't farm me down. I also need Scrafty to start ramping. I throw right away. And we're going to get Breaking Swipe, and we're going to hope this does not lower the attack, although it's not too bad anyways because we're going to be upping our attack against the Lickitung anyways. The thing that I really have to look out for is they're going to shield something because I'm going to get to multiple moves, although I'm 2 times buffed at this point. And I have to be worried about 2 body slams here. And they actually go for the power whip. So I think that was a mistake. I think they could have gotten to 2 body slams. And even if they can't get to 2 body slams, it is their best chance to try to win this game is to go for 2 body slams rather than a Grass Knot and a Body Slam, I guess, was their thing. All right. Hypno versus Skarmory. This used to be a pretty even matchup where Skarmory could win if they wanted to, but most of the time Hypno would win. Nowadays, they actually hard outpace you to the move. So, yeah, this matchup doesn't seem very good anymore. But you do outpace to the second one, so if they do shield the first one, they're going to shield the second one, but this guy didn't shield the first one, so... And once he does that, I'm like, screw it. I'm going into Umbreon. I already know there's a Brave Bird, but you cannot use shields on your safe swap. You need those shields for Scrafty. Ends up being a Lantern here, which is fine. This is a neutral matchup. Obviously, Umbreon would normally win this in equal conditions, but we're not in equal conditions. We're already at half-life. We do have a decent energy advantage, so that's good. I probably will let my Umbreon go down whenever it goes down here. We actually will survive this, even as a Thunderbolt. And then I'll probably come in Hypno, take the hit on Hypno, and then switch into Scrafty, just so that I... Oh, okay, hard swap. This can only be a Surf. I think I remember counting at the 13 here. They used 8, so they... Oh, no, 14, yeah. And they come back in Skarmory. I get to the move. So they can shield this or not, and if they don't, it gets KO'd. If they do, they're still going to be pretty low. This Dragonair gets a bit of a lead, but I still will outpace to each of my power-up punches. So I know I'll get to 2 power-up punches, so now it's just the power of fast attacks. And if you think Shadow Dragonair has great fast attack presence, you're correct. If you think Dragonair is going to be able to withstand anything, you are incorrect, because it is very squishy, and I'm powering up. Look how much damage these counters are doing. This is just GG. Also, I outpace, so I can do 1 more counter, even if they throw right away, and I'll live, but let's say I didn't live, at least I would have given myself a shot at the Snarl. Dragonair, so same thing as the Goodra and the many other Dragonairs you've seen in this video. I throw after 2 more Confusions, and I throw a Thunder Punch, because it will KO if they let it through, and I don't want them to know about the Ice Punch just in case. Maybe they come in with a Superior or some sort of Grassmon. They end up coming in with a Dark type, Drapion, and I just switched Umbreon. I mean, this is a safe swap. This is a neutral game. If anything, Umbreon's better in this matchup because their Shadow and probably 2 Last Resorts is going to be good enough. They're not switching out of this matchup, which is pretty good for me. It means at least I know they don't have like a Charmer, which means Scrafty's not going to be too scared of Fairy types in the back. So really the only... Well, and also probably not a Fighting type. They would have probably switched in also. I end up waiting the turn there, or not waiting a turn. My move ended 1 turn after theirs, and I waited for the full ending of the move. So I did see the Empoleon come in. I'll live this Hydro Cannon, so... We're only going to get to 1 move anyways, so just throw 1 I was going to say just throw the charge attack. Don't throw the one fast attack in because you will get KO'd. And then I know he can't make it to a move if I swap in Scrafty, and I want to start boosting right away. This guy saved up a ton of energy here on the Drapion, but we don't need a shield to the end. And Scrafty's just going to be boosting up. Hypno still has a decent amount of HP. I still have a catch in Umbreon maybe later. So I just got to get this low anyways. I'll probably shield the next move. They will get to 2 moves here if they want to. Or they might just top left. So now I know he's out of energy and he's just going to get farmed down. I probably don't even throw the move. I just probably fast attack. GG. All right, Annihilate. So Annihilate's going to be weird later. Okay. Earlier, I think I swapped in an Umbreon onto Lickitung to try to save my Scrafty for something in the back line against shields. And this time, I thought about it afterwards, and I was like, that was a risky decision. If they switch in a normal type, I'm just going to be switching straight into Scrafty, and I'm just going to try to use that extra damage against the thing in the front, because I'll be pumped up once at least, because I'm going to be throwing Power Up Punch into Scrafty, into Lickitung. And this does a lot of damage. And I actually am not going to make it to another one, but I throw a move anyways, just in case their counting is off or they're not counting at all. But they're smart. They're counting. They know what's happening. Really, the toughest part of this game is the Shadow Ball going into Hypno. I need to be very cognizant of the switch timer also. We switched in just slightly after they did into our Umbreon. I think I actually ended up losing a fast attack there, which is not great, but it's my own fault. I didn't throw at the right time. I thought I had clicked the move, and then you know how it is sometimes you click the move and it doesn't register the click or something. That I think is what happened. So we need to be looking at this timer because they're probably going to swap in Annihilate at any moment here. So I decided not to throw right away because I know it's coming, and I think this can KO it. And I'm going to switch into Hypno just in case. And this is an Ice Punch, I think, because I don't think it can be a Shadow Ball. Yeah. And then they come in with Umbreon, and I think, okay, I can live a move. But I keep trying to go for timing here. So I'm like, I'm going to throw 2 Confusions. But I know it has, like, I think at this point, 8 Snarls. So I know they're only like 2 away. So I think I can still go for 2 here. And then I think I win CMP. So now I got the 2 moves. These charge moves are going to do way more than an Umbreon can do to another Umbreon. So I'm good to try to take shields here or even do this massive amount of damage. Because if he lets it go through, I mean, it's either going to KO or it's not. But it's going to do a lot of damage still in the end. So I end up going for a bait here. But I think I end up going for bait because I think he's so low that it's going to get... I think it's basically going to KO from here. And I don't think on last resort it's going to KO me. Even though I am super low. But they throw a last resort here, and yeah, I'm not even close to getting KO'd. And it's a good thing that I was on a last resort 4 cycle here, because I would have thrown another foul play. Timer was up also, which is... Obviously, we were ahead in damage. Same thing that happens every time there's a Dragonair. I just go... They actually let us sneak a Confusion, and that kind of fucks me up, because I'm like, can I actually make it to 2 moves? You know what? I'm not going to risk it, though. I'm just going to throw on my normal timing. They let it go through. We're down a shield, but we win switch. And then, oh yeah, it did fuck me up, because I thought I could still get to that move. Man, I still couldn't get to the move. They come in with I think this was a Shadow Whiscash, so I do throw my energy into it, which I'm fine with doing that. Oh, it's a regular Whiscash. Less fine. But if we lived this... No. All right, we're going to come in Umbreon. Shields are down on both sides, which is fine. What I decide to do here, actually, is I'm going to stay in Umbreon and see if I get the debuff, and if I do, I'm switching right away into Scrafty, because I'm fine with either of these Mon getting the energy. In fact, both of them having the energy is great. They're going to outpace me to another one, and I'm just like, please don't lose another 50-50, because I really want to throw foul play into this. Okay, Cresselia. we just have to hope it doesn't have Moonblast, because if it does have Moonblast, we're screwed. Moonblast basically one-shot Scrafty, plus we're at half HP, obviously. It ends up one-shotting Scrafty. We go for CMP here on 8, so this is probably a future sight. What you don't know is, I already know the result, and this wasn't a future sight. This was a Moonblast. If they had thrown right when they got to the Moonblast, they would have won this game for sure. Now, I know I can go for 3 Snarls here, go for 3, and farm it down, and then I have a ton of energy going into this Whiscash. I actually go for an extra move there because I'm like, oh, I should do good timing since we're here at the end. But obviously, good timing here means bad results. But I know that they're going to switch too, which, oh, that's actually why I did it. It wasn't I was going for good timing. It was I want to make sure they're in the middle of an animation because they still have a switch. I do remember that. Zapdos. I showed the person's name at the beginning because they were streaming. And I looked, because I know their name, they're a very popular streamer. And I looked afterwards to see if they actually were streaming. And they were streaming this game. But it was funny because, well, they come in Hippowdon. Oh, I think I said in my last video I was going to try out a Hippowdon team. And I made a team, and it was awful. I did not like Hippowdon. So I assume I'm going to live this, and I'm just going to, but actually this ends up doing a ton of damage. But yeah, we go for Ice Punch, and yeah, it's GG. Well, we don't know what their last mon is, but I can farm this all the way down at least, and Umbreon has a ton of damage. Anyways, I was saying I showed their name because I might put their stream of this game at the end of this video. I'm undecided if I'm going to do that or not because I didn't ask if I could or anything. I probably won't end up doing it, but yeah, their name is Mish. She streams on Twitch, and yeah, she's an amazing player. She actually beat me at NAIC during the first NAIC for Pokemon Play in the first round. It was a devastating NAIC for me, but she was running Ariados, a super spicy team, and I think she was 1 win away from making it to day 2 at NAIC. So I mean, you could just know how good she is. So yeah, we know we can just let this go down. As soon as they throw a move here, Umbreon's going to live no matter what, but I'm just going to switch into Scrafty, and that's going to be GG. They're already down shields, and obviously a foul play is going to KO, and the Stone Edge is resisted. I think she ended up throwing the Stone Edge, and I went on the stream afterwards, said GG, and she was like, did you find it funny that I threw the Stone Edge? And I was like, yeah. Just throwing it just to throw it because she knows the match is over or whatever. So yeah, GG. Oh, I show this because I wanted to show you all my journal just in case you think I'm cherry picking games. This was a 5-0, and then I show my journal of the last sets. And with this team, I went 4-1, 2-3, 5-0, 5-0. So 14-1. I only played 4 sets today. Well, before putting out this video, I might play one more set. And of course, an egg popped while I was trying to show the journal here. Yeah, 5-0, 5-0, 2-3, 4-1. Yeah, I was very skeptical, not even skeptical. I thought this team was not going to do well. But I was like, it's the last day of Great League. This is the time to have fun with it if you want to have fun. And you know what? I did well, so I wanted to make a video of it and let everyone see that apparently it's still pretty decent. A lot of Bastiodon out there, so hopefully you guys can crush the Bastiodon. And thank you for watching, and I'm sure this is not the end of Hypno Double Dark, but if it is, I'll see you in the next one.